a lot of people that don't know the sport of martial arts very well, I think they kind of assume you fight angry. Like you need to get angry and then fight. You actually have to be very level-headed because it is a lot like golf. It's a game of inches. If you go left where you should have gone right, it can cost you, you know. So it's about staying level-headed, and I think in fighting you learn that a lot. You can't fight emotionally, but golf, you can't golf emotionally. Like then it just gets worse. So I think the mental aspect has been a massive, and I think the you know, like chunking a shot and then trying to work harder on the next one. I've learned a lot through another sport, which I can actually then pull into my sport, which is amazing.
So JB, tell me, so you know in golf we chirp our mates when we play. You know, it gets quite hectic. But how does it feel to play with a mate that can also kill you with your one hand?
No, I can definitely tell you it gets intense sometimes. At least most of the time I'm on Cameron's side, so it's usually us against the other teammates in the form.
You've aligned yourself well, sir.
I spot very carefully. So definitely.
So how did you get him into golf? What was your sort of, and I know there's been a bit of a hit and miss, you started in golf, but I mean I know you've been a big part of that. How did that all come together?
Yeah, look, I started golfing with my dad, so it's been a big part of my life. But I've known Cameron for a while now. He's been a mate from school. I always tried to convince him to come out with me on the golf course. One day he took me up on the offer. It was just, I'd like to say uphill, but it's a bit of downhill from there actually.
Yeah, definitely.
First it was just an excuse to have a bit of a draw, but like he said, we started taking it a bit seriously, try and get that competitive mindset, and that's how it started.
And tell me, what's the level of golf here? Who's who beats? Who's the competitive?
No, he is much better.
Much better. Okay.
So we're gonna start a thing, and I'm gonna hold him accountable to that. We're gonna start a Road to Pro series because he is very talented, and I really think that he can play very well golf, and I think it's something that we're gonna try and better with every week.
You need to come see me.
Yes,
that's
why.
So we'll make that happen. Let's start with the basics first.
Off camera, like I told you, like we would like to come to you next week because I was super serious. I was like, just how serious I am about fighting. Like you should get about golf because I can see the passion and I can see the
100%.
talents as well. So
So even to sponsors that are perhaps listening, you know, this is such an incredible moment for you to get involved in this young man's journey here, you know, because you've got a great social media presence. And what I really like about it, and I can see your friends that are so close to you, it's organic. You guys aren't trying to be famous. You know, it's the same for me and Arthur. You know, we don't have the credibility to be famous. But you just want to present a good product. You want to talk about golf. And the reason we started this show is to grow the game of golf, but also I don't want to just hear from European and American voices. And again, they've done tremendous stuff for the game, and I think that's the exciting part also about the UFC. When you now hear our accents, you know, it's like that World Cup moments. You know, and all my mates, I mean, I just had Greg Bauer. I mean, I thank God I said to him, don't come through, because he would have just embarrassed us. But when I told him who we were sitting here with, he's like, where are you guys? I'm on my way. And he's also just so dedicated. And his wife was never into UFC until you and Dricus came onto the scene. You know, and if you look at the Formula One and why you now see all these reality shows in Formula One, it's because Formula One was a dying sport. And then all of a sudden Netflix got involved, showed you the behind the scenes, which is something we can all relate to, and that grows the game or the sport. You know, so it's such a wonderful thing for us to know that a young man like you and mates like yourself that come into the game of golf, we all benefit from it, and it drives the youngsters onto the golf course. Because I think, what was your perception of golf, you know, growing up?
I think we also chatted about it, like people overestimate their fighting ability, but I think it's much worse with golf. I think everyone thinks they can play well until you actually try and do that, and it's really frustrating, and you go home crying into your pillow. So it's really hard. When I started it, I thought it was, honestly, at first I thought, oh yes, this is a boring game, and then you you get into, well, I got into the body mechanics, I got into the technicalities, and actually I think it's your companions you play with have a massive role, because I can think of a few guys I never want to play golf with again. But if you surround yourself with the right 3 other people, we have a WhatsApp group, the 3 Putt Club. And we
why the 3 putt? Who's the putter there?
Because that's quite standard when we play, you know. So our WhatsApp group's name is 3 Putt Club, and we try and organize a round every week or every second week, you know. So.
Guys, just invite us. It will become a 2-putt group. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That's literally why I brought Ron with me, so we can just bring the average up a little bit today. So.
And tell me so I just want to talk about your fight a little bit, if you don't mind. It's on the 9th of July?
Yes, so for South African time, it will be the morning of the 9th.
The morning of the 9th? Yeah, because it's normally about 2 o'clock or so our time?
Yeah.
And who are you fighting?
Christian Rodriguez, he's an American. He has a 9-1 record. And he has a lot of hype now going into this fight. He beat Raul Rosas Jr., who is... the youngest athletes on the UFC roster, so it's a great fight.
And how does it feel to get a clip of Dana White mentioning you specifically in a media conference?
Yeah, it's cool. It's like one of those things, like I didn't expect it to happen at all, and then when it happened, it was really sick. I think the whole Contender Series there, I didn't know I was the youngest guy to compete for a contract. I didn't know he said that afterwards. After the press conference, he gave me a bottle of whiskey as well. He ran into a storeroom, gave me a bottle of whiskey. So it was really, the whole experience was absolutely amazing. So I might never top that experience again, so all downhill from here.
I want to say this, and Yippie, jy kan saam met my stem. But I think in 2-3 years from now, you would have had maybe another 150 highs like that. There is just no doubt about that. I don't think you understand. And I must be honest, I think most youngsters at your age, which I think you are more level-headed than most youngsters your age, but they still don't realize. And when we say naivety, naivety is also a strength. But I know this so well when somebody is, maybe 20 years younger or 15 years younger, and they give you advice. There's a phase in your life where you listen to it, you respect it, but you don't really put it into action. Because you're almost on your own journey. I know a little bit better, and I'm not assuming that of you. So it is really good to see how you handle yourself this morning, that you do listen. And it's not about always listening. It's about, saying, guys, there's a lot of experience around me. Take a little bit of that. But make no mistake, guys, we also get inspired by you guys. We get inspired when I watch that, you almost go in a little bit in your youngster years and you're like, he's 22, you're 8-0, am I right?
Yes, sir.
You're 22, 8-0, you're about to fight your biggest fight. It makes you feel pretty about yourself,
My heart is racing just listening to this. I'm like, this is insane. I'm not even right now. I'm just picturing all of this happening, if it was me.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is just insane.
But I think you spoke about naivety, and that's literally that's basically how I pursued the sport as a pro. I was like, I can do this. I was naive. I didn't know what it was going to take, but I did think, okay, I like this. I can do this. So there is a certain extent, there's a naivety when I say anyone can do anything. When he plays golf, I'm like, you can, because actually the reason why I wanted him to play professional golf is I wanted to caddy for him and just be so rude to the other players, because they're not going to fight us.
I can organize
play a mind game.
I can organize that with the click of my fingers. You just let me know when you want to carry a bag and I'll find you someone. That's pretty simple.
Listen, I'll carry your water bottle to UFC.
And you know what you should? You should actually, I'm sure everyone who's playing there would probably know who you are, and then you should just be the biggest just desk there. You just want to, you know what I'm saying? Get away from us. Go walk somewhere else.
But that's what I was also thinking with JP and them when they play with him. The mates I chirp, I can probably hold my own with them. But You don't want to take the chirping too far, with this one in your 4-ball. You might just walk away with that beautiful slap we refer to in South Africa.
I was